Hi guys, how's everyone doing today? Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you're new here, I'm Zita, welcome. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button in the corner. On my channel, I share with you the DIYs I do around my home, the DIYs I create for resale or for my own home decor or to give as a gift. And I show you the process that I go through to fix these items up and make them beautiful treasures again. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing some fall DIYs that I worked on this week. So let's get started and see what I worked on. For this first DIY, guys, this is an old cupboard door that I thrifted at the Habitat Restore, and it hadn't been painted yet, no knobs on it, so just a fresh cupboard door that I could work with. So first here I'm applying a stain to the outer portion of the cupboard door, and this is a Minwax in Espresso. So it's a nice kind of medium to dark brown. Here I'm just giving it a good stir because it's been a while since I've used this. And as you can see there, I did pour some stain into another container because I didn't want to contaminate the can of stain. So anytime you want to use it for anything, I suggest probably pouring a little bit out into another container so you don't contaminate the whole can if you have something on your rag or your brush. And here I'm just using a cotton rag that I had on hand to apply the stain all around the frame portion of the cupboard door. And for the next step, I'll be mixing some green and gray paint together to get a green color that I want to paint the interior of the cupboard door. So the green was a little brighter than I wanted, so I just mixed in some gray to give it more of like a fall green color. And I didn't do any measuring or anything, I just kind of added some gray until I got the tone of green that I wanted. And right here I'm just kind of painting carefully around the edges so I don't get any on the stain portion of the frame. And guys, if you have a Lazy Susan or turntable of some sort, it makes it really easy to turn your piece. What do you guys think of this green color? Does it look like a nice fall color? Leave me a comment. Guys, this is the second coat I'm putting on here. And it just took 2 coats. This green color was good enough to give it good coverage on 2 coats. So this is the fall design that I did in my Silhouette Design Studio. And the font I use is called Buttercup Sample. And I use a vinyl for my stencil. I had some white on hand, so this is what I use. I wasn't sure first if I was going to do a decal or if I was going to do a stencil, but I went with the stencil. And right here I'm cutting the edge of the vinyl where my stencil ends. And right here I'm going to be weeding the stencil. Just weeding out all the lettering before I apply my transfer tape. Right here I'm applying my transfer tape and I'm just clipping it on the end so it doesn't move, and then I kind of just mark with a pencil where I need to cut it. But you don't necessarily have to mark with a pencil. It is a grid line transfer tape. Right here I'm just pulling back the backing from the transfer tape and just applying the transfer tape to one end of the stencil. And then I'm going to take the clip off and just kind of pull it from the back and just go down the stencil and burnish it as I go. Doing it this way helps get less bubbles in the transfer tape. Gets it a little smoother. Fine if you take it off in just one whole piece and then just try to lay it down, it can go sideways really quick because it's going to get stuck to your stencil and might not be the easiest to get up if you apply it wrong. Right here I'm just measuring out where I want the stencil to go on my sign, making sure it's equal on all sides. And I'm just putting some tape in place, which will help me know where I need to place the stencil once I take the backing off the stencil. So now that I have my tape in place, which will help me know where I need to place it so everything is measured equally, I'm going to take the backing off the vinyl, and I'm kind of burnishing as I go, and I find it's easier to kind of peel back on the slant, and as you can see there, I'm kind of keeping the backing down on the vinyl and peeling as I go, because I find some of the finer details, like the leaves I have there, you know, the vinyl wants to come up with the backing. So if you kind of press down and pull back on an angle, I find it's going to be the best way to have everything stay on the stencil. So right here I'm just lining it up with the tape that I placed down. Now this can be a little tricky, guys, sometimes. So before you place the whole thing down, kind of get it where you want it to go. Otherwise, it's hard to get back up once you have it down. Right here, I'm just burnishing everything down. Just making sure the stencil is attached to the piece really well before I start painting. So right here I'm peeling back the transfer tape, kind of burnishing as I go, especially in those finer detail areas where the leaves are. And again, I'm pulling back on a slant. I find it's easier this way. As you can see, I'm kind of just pressing down in that leaf area. So now that that's up, I'm gonna burnish it down once more to make sure the stencil is attached to my piece nicely, so when I paint I get less bleed through. So for my first coat of paint here, guys, I'm doing the same color as the sign in the green. So when I start painting in the white, it's going to be less bleed through because I've already kind of did the same undercoat as the sign, and that's going to help adhere the stencil to the sign a little better, and you're going to get less bleed through with the next color that you put on top. I hope all that made sense to you guys. Let me know in the comments if you need any further explanation on what I did here. Right here I'm using a white acrylic paint to apply the second coat for the stencil area. And I did this after the green that I put down first had dried. So for this white coat, I think I did 3 coats right here. Just kind of let it dry in between each coat before I apply the next. And right here I'm mixing a red and a yellow to give me an orange color. I didn't have any orange acrylic paint, so I mixed the red and the yellow to give me the orange color I wanted. And as you see, guys, here in the cups, I mix two different color oranges, one kind of brighter and one kind of dark. So I applied the brighter color first, and then for the second coat, I kind of applied some darker orange in some areas of the leaves, just kind of give the leaves some dimension. And right here I'm applying a second coat of the white paint. And I use a makeup sponge from the dollar store to apply my paint. And I go up in a up and down pouncing motion. I don't use the swirl method. I've seen it used in other videos. Let me know in the comments, guys. What do you guys do? Do you guys pounce or swirl? I prefer the pouncing method. So here, guys, I'm peeling back the vinyl after all my coats of paint have dried. And again, I'm just kind of peeling it on an angle. And right here, I'm just weeding out the rest of my vinyl to give me my letters. And it's very easy to miss some of the vinyl with after you've painted it, because it kind of blends in with the paint. As you can see, I forgot to pull out a little bit that was on that F. But I do see it after, I catch it after. Right here I'm applying a little bit of orange to the leaves that got some white paint on it. So I'm just kind of blending everything in. Just using a little stick here because that sponge was a little too big. And right here I'm just using a white painter's pen just to kind of touch up the spots that kind of got some orange paint on it. What do you guys think? I absolutely love it. I really love that green and orange together, and I like it with that espresso trim on the frame, and I really like that buttercup font as well. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think of this. For this next DIY, I'm working on a fall wreath. And this is a wreath from the dollar store. I couldn't find a wire wreath, so I saw this there and I went with this, but I didn't like what it was decorated with, so I just cut that off and I used the wreath to make my own. This stuff was so messy, guys. Just left bits and pieces everywhere in the room. So here I'm just measuring out some orange, what is this? I've lost my words. burlap, orange burlap. Okay, I got this from the dollar store, so I'm using some orange and I'm using some regular color burlap. So this is a really simple wreath to make, guys. You just cut pieces of burlap in the brown color and in the orange color, and you just tie it around the wreath. And then you can put your leaves on afterwards. So I just tied all the burlap on in double knots, and I just kind of place the orange burlap equally apart. So I use more brown burlap than I use the orange. So it's pretty simple. Anyone can do this project. And after I had everything tied on, I just embellished it with some leaves and some pine cones and some pumpkins. And these little pumpkins and pine cones are also from the dollar store. And so are the leaves. Pretty much this whole project came from the dollar store, so it's budget friendly and it looks nice and fall-y. And these leaves were like a wire pick, so they were really easy to attach to the wreath. And for the pumpkins and pine cones, I just hot glued those in place. Right here, kind of just seeing where I want to place the pumpkins before I glue them down. So after I have all my embellishments on, I'm just using a piece of burlap to use on the top to hang the wreath with. So there it is, guys. Pretty easy and simple to do. Budget friendly, everything from the dollar store. For this next DIY, I've thrifted some books from the thrift store, and I'm going to do a fall book stack. So again, I'm using that same color green that I use on my fall sign, and I put 2 coats of paint on these books. Let the first coat dry and then applied the second coat. So instead of doing a stencil or a decal, guys, I just writing out what I want on the wording I want on the books with the pencil first, and then I'm going to go over it with the white paint pen. So here I'm using my white paint marker to trace over the pencil that I wrote out earlier. And here I'm just erasing one of the letters because it wasn't lining up, and that was pretty simple to do. It didn't take off any of the paint or anything, so I'm just writing out the letter again. I love this little saying that I'm putting on here, go jump in the leaves. I remember doing that as a kid. What about you guys? I loved it. Let me know in the comments if you guys did that as kids. There, it looks pretty nice, freehand. So here I'm cutting down some orange burlap. This is the same burlap I put on the wreath. So I'm just cutting it down into some thin strips, and I'm going to use the orange burlap and some twine to wrap around the book stacks. And then I'm going to embellish that with a leaf and a pine cone, same as the wreath. So right here, guys, I'm using these napkins. I'm going to cut out the leaf portion and I'm going to decoupage that on the top of the books. So these are 2-ply napkins, so just peel the back of the napkin off and then use a brush and some water to wet around the area that you want to use to decoupage. When you wet it, it kind of is easier to detach the rest of the napkin from the portion that you want to use. And it also gives it a more natural look instead of like a straight edge. So I'm cutting out 2 pieces here to fit on the top. And right here I'm applying my Mod Podge. I kind of work from the center out and then do the other side. So I find if you place all the Mod Podge down and then just try to stick your napkin, it kind of can go south kind of easily. So this is the way I do it. I find it's a lot easier this way. So what do you think, guys? Should I have decoupaged it or not? Should I have just left the green color, or would you guys have also decoupaged it? Let me know in the comments. Here I'm just going over the lettering again with another coat of the white paint marker just to brighten it up. And I let that Mod Podge dry, and then I applied some brown antiquing wax to give it a more natural look. So all of the supplies I used today, guys, if there's any that I've gotten from Amazon, I'll leave those in the description. So right here I'm just applying my leaf and my pine cone, getting that in place, and then this is all done. So this is a pretty simple DIY, guys, that anyone can do. You can do them in whatever color you'd like. I'm liking this green right now. It kind of matches the sign I did. So guys, I hope you enjoyed these DIYs today. I know this video was a little long, but I just wanted to share all the steps with you guys. So let me know in the comments what you thought of these and which one was your favorite. So enjoy this reveal, guys, and I'll say goodbye in the end. for watching today, guys. I really appreciate you hanging out with me today. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and give it a comment and let me know which DIY was your favorite today. Until the next time, don't forget to talk nice to yourself and others today. And we'll see you in the next video. Have a great day, guys. Bye.